Hey, welcome back to Gold's Garage. So here's our 283. It's coming together. And I mentioned attention to detail. So in a previous video, we were at Tom Winkler's. Some of these old small block Chevs before 65, 66, 67, not sure the exact year, did not have a balancer bolt in the front of the crankshaft. It was not threaded. Obviously it is now. So we actually made a video at Tom's on his lathe. Tom, my good buddy Tom, is a master machinist, and he has his own machine shop, private machine shop. So he helped me out with that. We made a video about that. Hopefully you've seen that video already. So drilling and tapping 5/8 thread in your crankshaft is not something you probably should try at home. Maybe guys have done it, but Tom did a job that you never could do it that way at home anyway. So I'm going to show you installing the balancer, but a couple other details. As you mentioned, attention to detail. So because it didn't have a balancer bolt, we pull the balancer on with this tool here. This tool here, we're going to do that for you. If you don't have a thread in your crankshaft, you can't do that. And they're going to show you the right way. If you're, let's like whoever built this engine before, hammered the balancer on, you can see that. If that's the way you're doing it, then you need to stop doing that because it's not good. The other thing, on the other side of the balancer, you can see now I've installed a stainless steel sleeve, and I'll put a picture in the video of what the shaft looked like before that. It had a pretty good groove in it, and that's the shaft. When you put the balancer on, that's going to seal on your timing cover. And if that shaft is worn and grooved, and it happens because dirt and grit gets in there over time, then your balancer seal's likely going to have a leak. So I installed this. I'll show you in the video the Felpro part number and so on. You can buy this at Amazon. And I'm going to show you installing the balancer and with a proper balancer tool. So once again, so how did I install that? It's a pretty tight fit. Now the instructions don't show that. It shows tapping it on. It's a very, very thin seal or piece of stainless steel, because it obviously has to mate against the same seal size as the original shaft. So very, very little difference. So I put it in my easy bake oven and get it about 400 degrees, get a welding bit out, and it just goes on there, at least goes on there pretty easy anyway. So, but there's other ways to getting it on. But if you're rebuilding an old engine, and this, we're still going to call this a budget build because we're using the original crankshaft, rods, pistons, camshaft, lifters, all that stuff. We have done some machining to get compression, and I'm going to show you something about that too in a separate clip. You need to verify. It's not a matter of doing a calculation and saying, okay, we got so much. There always has to be a way of verifying that you got what you think you got. One of the things in compression is you do a compression test when you're all done. You don't just calculate it. You confirm that you got what you achieved, what you set out to achieve by doing that. So I'll show you how I confirmed what actual quench clearance that we got wasn't quite what we expected, and there's a lot more to that than I just stated. So let's get this guy on here. So it's pretty simple. We put a little bit of oil onto the shaft. Get my rag out of there. A little oil on the seal because it's got to slide over the seal. And on the balancer side, once again, I've cleaned up the bore of the balancer. Always, if you're going to put something old like that on, in this case, I just used a cylinder brake hone. Just lightly touch it, get the rust out of there, and put a little bit of oil on the outside as well. So we want it slippery on the inside to slide over the shaft, on the outside to slide over the seal. So let's see if we can get that on in the right place. Where's the keyway? Like there. Okay, that is started. And then we put our install tool on. So you can buy this tool at at Summit, I will put a link, a screenshot of the part number and all that. So this is made for small block Chevs. There's a whole bunch of different ones made for different engines. So typically small block Chevs is 5/8 thread at one end and 3/4 at the other end. So if you have a big block, 5/8 for a small block, turn it around for a big block, and it's 3/4. So there's a little bearing in there so that when you're tightening it down, all your force is going into pushing that balancer on, not into friction. So let's get it started. I probably should have set it up a little better. You want to get the maximum engagement of thread. So Tom did a nice job giving me a thread there. This engine did not have a threaded crankshaft before, and so whoever put it together probably didn't have really too many choices, right? So let's get it threaded on all the way. Make sure you don't pull the threads out, and then just back it off a little bit so it doesn't jam. Okay, let's get the tools out and show you how that goes on. So got to stop it from turning at this end, and it's probably the only thing I use this adjustable wrench for is this. So some are harder than others. If it gets too hard, take it off and see why. See if there's a problem with the fit on your shaft or whatever. In this case, this one's going on very easily, actually. And when it gets to the end, it'll tell you. You'll feel a clunk where it comes up solid. And you know you got your balancer in the right place. Getting a little harder. And that's it. Take it out, the spool out. And we're going to stop there. How we verify what our actually quench clearance was. So next I want to talk about quench. We made a big deal in the previous video. We went to brine half tires. We decked the block, we decked the cylinder heads. We're trying to get two things. We're trying to get our compression up, which we did to actually now slightly over 9.5 to 1 compression. And we wanted to get ideal quench. This engine originally had 87 or 88 thousandths of quench. So I had Brian deck the block, and I measured the pistons, and I will put pictures in to kind of support the things that I'm telling you. I put pictures of measuring the deck height on, I think I used 4 different cylinders, and got a little less than I thought, more like about 15 to 17 thousandths of an inch. I thought it was going to be more than that. So I also stated in the previous video, if you use a Felpro 1094 gasket, they're 15 thou. So 15 to 17 is 32. We're getting pretty tight. If it's 15 and 15, it's 30. That's even tighter. So that had me worried a little bit. So if you look at the Felpro 1094 gasket, depending where you're looking to buy it, you can buy that gasket from Summit as well. The advertised thickness of the compressed thickness of the gasket 15 thou. On other advertisements, it says 20 thou, meaning thousandths of an inch. So I actually measured it. I can't show you because the gasket's obviously in the engine now. I actually measured it, and the flat part of the gasket where there's no embossing for the seal or anything is already 20 thousandths of an inch, 20 or maybe 21 or 22 even. So let's call it 20. So 20 plus my 15 or 17 is 35 or 37. My point is this: wherever you can, and you maybe can't always do it, you need to verify that you accomplish what you try to accomplish, because two things. I was a little worried that I was a little bit too tight. I'm down in, usually aim for about 40 thousandths in quench, so we're down in, 30 to 35. And, don't keep in mind it's an engine that only turns 5,000 RPM. It's got a 3-inch stroke. So the piston speed is what determines the rod stretch and a bunch of other things. So the piston speed of a 283 with a 3-inch stroke at 5,000, if that was a 383, it would be 4,000 RPM. So not a big deal. But anyway, back to the deal. So how do I know that I got what I thought? So what I did at first was I put some Play-Doh on the top of some pistons and installed the cylinder heads without any gaskets at all. Snugged them down without any gaskets at all and rolled the engine over. Then I measured the thickness of the Play-Doh. So that was about 17 thou. So we're back to my 17 plus, now I'm stating that the gasket's 20 thou. And once again, I measured it in an area that doesn't get compressed, and it's only 20 thou. So that's 37 thou. So how do you know? That's a good theory, what you actually got. So what I did was, to verify that, I took a piece of soft wire. This is a solder, I guess, for something I used somewhere in one of my past lives. And I took a piece of soft wire and I shoved it into the cylinder with the cylinder head. Now, the gasket's on, head's torqued, it's ready to go. Put it in the spark plug hole, rotated the engine over. You're going to try this. Don't use a starter, do it by hand. Make sure you got it, wire sticking in between the top of the piston and the quench area of the cylinder head when you do it. And none of the valves were actuated at that time. I didn't have any push rods in it when I did it. None of the valves were activated. So stick that in, rolled it over a couple of times till I compressed it. And I'm going to have, as soon as I get it, as soon as I find where it is here. So there's the thickness of the wire after I compressed it by basically jamming it. Can you see that okay, Alec?
Yep.
Okay. Jamming it between the cylinder, the top of the piston, and the deck. And it's more like 43 or 44 thou. My calculation was 37. So close enough. 44 is a good number. And what happens when you got something jammed in there? It probably takes away a little bit of clearance there is between the connecting rod and the crankshaft. Compresses, pushes the piston down a little bit, kind of squeezes everything. So dynamically, we're somewhere between 37 and 44 thousandths of an inch of quench. So once again, you do all your calculations, and that's just theory until whenever you can, validate that what you did was accurate and you got the result that you want.